We are live. The Bullheaded Podcast is back and better than ever. I am here with Zoo and P. Bush. How you guys doing?
Oh man, just a painful Bears game last night, man. I don't even. They almost go for 400 yards on offense, and they put up pretty much 3 points. Let's be honest here: 3 points, garbage time touchdown per usual. Just a painful game. But the Bulls got a nice win down there in Houston. Didn't have to lose two in a row to the Houston Rockets, thank God.
The
So that
surging
was
Rockets.
a slight little bright spot there on a Monday night.
Not gonna lie, man, it's a sad week.
Mm.
I think my run is over in the playoffs, even though
Mhm.
my team dropped 253 fantasy points after 2 weeks. The other team was just a little better, man. He's up by 2 points right now. I got no players left. Unless Jalen Hurts throws like 7 picks, I ain't winning.
He's
I
got
ain't
two
moving on to
turnovers
the
right
game.
Yeah, you
now.
got two turnovers so far.
No, man. The dude needs to legit get like 3 fumbles for me to win this game. But
Yeah.
it's a long season. My run is over. It's a sad week.
I know where this is going.
Fuck Harbaugh for not making Justin Tucker kick some field goals, man. And dude, that motherfucker, man, costing me some points. Why did they have to go for 2 points? They could have went overtime, and Aaron Rodgers could have got me more points.
Yeah. It could have.
I
And
will
that
not
was the
forget
second time he
Harbaugh.
did that.
Well, I know, because as a Justin Tucker shareholder, it hurt me very much, man. It hurt me very much. Those points, dude. And how many times did they go on fourth down, man? Holy cow! Every time those fourth down, they
Them and the
went for it.
Chargers, they're always going for it on fourth down. Those are
Bro.
the teams this year.
Ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Like Harbaugh, bro. Go to overtime. Hope you get lucky with the coin flip. Maybe Aaron Rodgers never touches the ball, but bro, you go for 2 again, costing me fantasy points.
Yeah. That's a tough game.
Yeah, Harbaugh's kind of got the whole I trust my players. But if you actually, I understand the whole philosophy with, hey, if you have the lesser tier team or you have the lesser quarterback, you just go for the win. But it's like Huntley actually was playing pretty decent.
Pretty
Like
good,
they
man.
had the
Great
momentum
game.
going into
Dude,
it. If they would have kicked that field goal,
fantasy points.
yeah, I think
35.
they would have had the momentum
4
going
touchdowns.
into overtime. And like you say, you're playing your odds with the flip of the coin. So if they get the coin, like it's probably a good assumption.
You got
that-
Justin Tucker too, man. Just
Yeah.
in case you need to hit a long
just
field
get
goal,
him
you got
over the
Justin
50.
Tucker.
Just
Yeah.
get him over the 50, and he has a chance
Yeah.
to boom it into the upright. So yeah, that kind of was Harbaugh against trusting his guys. But we're gonna get into Week 14 action. Per usual, a lot of games that were up and down, things that I guess are shaping and kind of solidifying the playoff position. With one of the games being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and that whole. Wouldn't say it's a debacle, but it was a ugly game to watch. If you're a fan of defense, it was great to watch. But it just looks like the Saints have the numbers. So I'm going to ask the guys, what were some of their takeaways from Week 15 or 14 and their thoughts on that. And P. Bush, I'm going to start with you.
And I know we're going to kind of get into this a little later, but I think, Andy Reid's really brought the Chiefs back on track. That was a big divisional win against the Chargers, who are kind of always a crapshoot. They can, drop 40 easily on pretty much any team, or they end up kind of getting into a shootout. And once again, so you want to talk about teams that were going for it maybe a little too much on fourth down. Man, that Chargers game last week,
man, they cost themselves that game.
They got a little greedy. Now, granted, that's a huge game. If they had won that, they're kind of poised and aligned with the Kansas City Chiefs to win the AFC West. But now there's about a 2-game difference at this point. So, I think we've mentioned this a couple times, but Melvin Ingram going there to Kansas City, I don't think we all thought he would have that big of an impact. But he's ramped up that defense just enough to keep them in pretty much every single game, not be guaranteed allowing 30 points. And hey, if Travis Kelce decides to keep playing like the way he did that night, once he gets back from COVID protocol, the Chiefs are going to be reckoned with, man. And they're set up pretty well to be that number 1 seed there in the AFC, especially with that Patriots loss against a surging Colts team. So those are kind of we're seeing the Chiefs get back to where we all expected them to be. And Zoo is going to say he never doubted them. So
yep. You took the words
never
right
doubted
out of
him.
my mouth, man. Are you kidding me? Regression to the mean, baby. My favorite terminology, man. I saw this Chiefs team. They're pretty much the same exact team, man. Healthy O-line. Their offense looked like garbage. Like, their defense was atrocious in the beginning. I was just like, what is going on? And I never bought it. I'm like, dude, don't overreact when you got a coach like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and those weapons. The team is loaded. Even on defense, they got some studs on defense. So they got healthy. They got their act together. And pretty much the favorite to win the AFC again, because, I don't know, the AFC is pretty awful. It's pretty awful.
Yeah.
Especially that Ravens division, man. You got the Ravens, Browns, Steelers, Bengals. A bunch of all the teams are at. Like none of them are threats. Like if you look at the teams of the AFC, like Tennessee Titans, like nah. Like none of these guys are threats. So Kansas City, I think they're going to roll through. I think they're going to go back to the Super Bowl again just because of their path. And if they get the first round bye, guarantee.
Yeah.
Guarantee they're going to be in the Super Bowl again if they get the first round bye. But yeah, Sean mentioned that Saints game, man. Disgusting. Disgusting. Disgusting.
Horrible.
The injuries, like first, rest in peace, my guy Chris Godwin tore his ACL.
Yeah, man.
That's a big loss.
Dude, this guy was balling this year. Like he was like past 2 games, he had over like 10 receptions, over 10 plus targets per game. This guy was racking up over 100 yards. Like he was balling, having an awesome year, but ACL injury. Also, Mike Evans also out. Also,
Fournette.
Fournette on IR now. Yeah. Antonio Brown had that thing with the fake back scars suspended. So legit, Tom Brady lost all. He's coming. Oh, they'll need him
back this week.
They'll need him because oh my Lord, like you look at the weapons Tom Brady had, it was like too much. Now he's got one guy left. Like even like Gronkowski, he had some drops that game too. I'm just like Tom Brady, like wow, I don't know what happened to the Buccaneers. Like they're ravaged by injuries, and if they're without those weapons, they ain't making it out of the NFC.
Not the Packers.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Like, if Tom Brady pulls a miracle of just having AB and Ronald Jones as his 2 best weapons, Jesus Christ.
Le'Veon Bell, he just got signed, baby.
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't got a time machine, man. They don't got a time machine. Yeah, maybe Tom Brady got a time machine, but Le'Veon Bell does not have a time machine. No. So, good luck to the Buccaneers because, man, oh, man. The reason they were so deadly because they had legit 4 Pro Bowl offensive players on the perimeter, and now they're down to like 2. So we'll see.
And Mike Evans, he's probably going to come back before the season's over, so I think they'll have him. And if they have AB, they'll be back to having 2 solid wide receivers, right? If Gronk can, at least play the way that we expect him to play with Brady. And let's be honest, Ronald Jones isn't a horrible running back. He's no playoff Lenny, obviously, especially out of the passing game.
I don't know. I remember Ronald Jones is known for fumbling, man. Every time I remember he gets fumbled, Bruce Arians is like, man, go to the bench.
Yeah, exactly. And you know who else they really need back? And I don't know exactly his timetable or if he's out for the season, but if they could get Giovanni Bernard back to pair with Ronald Jones and then therefore kind of fill the void of Fournette in the pass catching game and get Gio Bernard in there, that's the best they can do to kind of bandage that void up. But Zoo, I'm with you, man. I think they're going to fall a little bit in the NFC. They're not going to get that bye anymore. Obviously, Packers pretty much have that locked up now with playing the Vikings and the Lions in 2 of their last 3, and the Cleveland Browns might be their 3rd. I can't remember exactly who it is, but I believe they play Cleveland.
They're winning all of them, man. You see Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah,
you see Aaron Rodgers? He's winning MVP. He's winning MVP, man. Especially with Brady and the injuries, and he dropped a donut. MVPs don't drop donuts, man.
You got to score. Yeah, you got to score.
You dropped the donut. You didn't even get a field goal. You dropped the donut. You're out of the MVP conversation. Now Aaron Rodgers is taking over, and this guy's going to go back-to-back this year. And he has a chance of redemption this year. He has a chance of redemption.
Yep.
But my, oh my, because that game against the Ravens, wow.
A little scary.
To watch.
A little scary, though.
Yeah, a little scary. It got a little too close. Like, they obviously go for 2 points, but Aaron Rodgers, the only bad thing that Aaron Rodgers did, he missed that wide open throw to Devontae Adams, man.
Yeah,
I still remember that play. I was at a Packers bar. I was fucking raging. I was raging so hard because I needed it. That would have been an 80-yard touchdown. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, but he missed up. And that miss might have cost me my fantasy football season.
Yep.
I would not forgive him for that.
But hey, he's for sure. I think he's a lock for the NFC Championship game. Matt LaFleur is doing a hell of a job. I think especially on I know he doesn't, call plays on the defensive side or whatsoever, but as a head coach, you're still, asked to oversee it, right? Be in discussion with your D coordinator. And with the injuries that they've had, specifically Jair Alexander, they have given Aaron Rodgers exactly what he needs. A slightly better than average. I think they're about, I want to say 11th in overall defense, around that area. If you give Aaron Rodgers a top 15 defense, oh my God, man, that's Super Bowl haven right there in Green Bay. as long as this team's not giving up 30 points a game to Tyler Huntley's every week, I think they'll be fine. So, they'll bounce back. They'll be fine. But also, man, speaking of ex-Packers, I guess, Mike McCarthy in Dallas. You believe in him right now?
No. That dude's a playoffs, man. He ain't a coach. He ain't a playoff coach, man. He ain't a playoff coach. Like, I feel like that's the reason. It's him and Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has regressed.
I agree.
Since that injury, bro.
Yeah, since that injury, like, he does not look like the
paid.
dude. Yeah. He got a little less motivation when you get paid. But yeah, after getting paid, injury, he just doesn't look like the same dude.
No.
And like Mike McCarthy, my thoughts about this dude, man. This fat ass lucky he got Coach Aaron Rodgers. He lucky, man.
A little Mike Brown action.
Yeah, bro, exactly. That is the perfect comparison. Mike Brown, Coach of the Year. I got to coach LeBron. Yeah, I want to coach of the year. You know what he said about LeBron James? I am thankful for LeBron James for my career.
Yeah.
Because he knows the only reason people know Mike Brown's name is because of LeBron James. And the only people knows Mike McCarthy and that Super Bowl ring that he won. Nah, he didn't win that. He was just sitting on the bus that Aaron Rodgers was driving, man. He was just chilling the fat ass in the back, eating some snacks probably. Mike McCarthy, what a joke.
That's what happens, man.
Mike McCarthy is a terrible head coach. I don't even know how he got hired by the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
How he got hired by the Dallas Cowboys.
Fair.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones, like, man, we hire a little sucker and be like, oh, this guy's a Super Bowl winning coach. Stop it. You got to know if you're the reason you want it or maybe in spite of
Belichick.
You. Yeah. Bill Belichick. Yeah, come on, bro. Mike McCarthy, what a joke, man. And that Dallas Cowboys, that offense, which I thought was going to be elite this year, not elite now.
Yeah.
Not elite.
I was just going to say, Zoo, I think Dan Quinn is arguably the MVP of that team this year. I mean, he's coming from a Falcons team who, I mean, we all know, as a head coach, his defense imploded against Tom Brady in that Super Bowl back in 2017. But look, man, Trayvon Diggs, he's got 10 picks, man. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Obviously, it's an individual effort. You can't always coach that. He's obviously, extremely talented and he's just got the instincts. But he has put together a team that is single-handedly, arguably, with Zeke struggling, with Dak struggling, with the injuries from Amari, CD, Michael Gallup. That defense has been the most consistent aspect of that team, besides the fact that they have an easy division. That's probably their only other consistent thing.
75% of it. Yeah.
And we got two of them playing right now, and they're both hovering around 500. They're not, the Detroit Lions, the Jets. They're not that bad, but everybody expected them to be where they are. And I think that they wouldn't have met those expectations if Dan Quinn wasn't their defensive coordinator this year. I really think so. Because he's put together all those young guys, man. Got him to buy in.
Yeah, shout out to Micah Parsons.
That's the man. Yeah. That's the dude. He's a dude. And I think that's really attributing to Trayvon Diggs' picks. Because you got a guy that's constantly in the lap of the quarterback. It's going to make him throw the ball, make decisions that he doesn't want to make. And Trayvon's already kind of had the reputation, even last year, I think, as being more of a gambler. So, he's going to be getting a bunch of picks and cashing in on those picks because you got Micah breathing down. Like, it's not crazy to think he's a defensive player of the year, not just rookie.
There's a lot of guys they're probably going to give it to Watt. Who's about to break.
They'll give it to Watt because he got like 7. Yeah, he's got about 7.
There's 4 players above 17 sacks. Robert Quinn hit 17 last night, which he's about to break the Bears record in the franchise history. And then I think Joey Bosa, I believe, has that.
Yeah, Joey Bosa's
he's got 17-ish.
Yeah, or Nick Bosa, I think is the one.
It might be Nick,
Yeah, Nick, the younger one.
And then TJ's leading for sure. And then there's somebody else with 17. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's been a hell of a sack year. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what's going on, if the O-lines are just backed up. But that's another thing, man. If the Cowboys can solidify and make sure that Tyron Smith is able to play and, stay healthy, they have to be able to get their running game going if they want to win in this playoffs, because they're not getting through the Packers or even the hobbled Bucks team, I think, at this point, just the way Dak's been playing, man. So I'm not buying into their coaching staff, unfortunately, even though Dan Quinn is carrying the load.
And that's the thing with Dallas. If you think about it, that's always been a question. If they just would get say if they had, and it's hard to get a Sean Payton or a super respected coach to leave and just transfer to another team. But if they had, I think over the last, you could say 10, 15 years, they had a solid, X's and O's coach who had a backbone, Dallas probably would have been in a Super Bowl and won one because they've had talent for days. It's just their coaching has always been subpar. And part of that's because of Jerry Jones. He's going to win his way. He wants to have the guy who he can go to dinner with and talk to a certain way.
You can go to dinner with Mike McCarthy all day, every day.
Yeah, exactly. Multiple courses.
Man. Appetizers, the whole nine, baby.
My God.
That's just his bread and butter, man. So I don't know. I think no pun intended.
Bread and butter.
Hey, yo, Mike McCarthy, if you're listening, man, I ain't mean that, man. I ain't mean that, man. It's crazy. But, I don't know. I think Jerry Jones is definitely a guy who likes to have coaches he can manipulate. And until he brings in a bona fide, superb coach, Dallas is always going to have a ceiling. Now, Dak has been such a crazy talent that some thought maybe he could lift him over despite coaching. But how he's been playing since the calf injury, it just hasn't been the same. And I don't know. Like you said, you got Zeke kind of, and then Pollard had the little plantar fascia.
Another 3.8 yards a carry.
Yeah,
he did score finally.
Bro,
this
is Zeke on a good day now.
Enough.
50 yards and a touchdown. This is not the Zeke. This is not the Zeke I drafted.
No.
They're not going to cut bait with him next year, but they should. It's too much. I mean, he got 2 years
too much
left.
money, man. He got paid like
left.
80, 90 mil, man. They ain't getting rid of him.
But then NFL contracts are always weird. I always feel like there's so many.
A lot of it's guaranteed, man. A lot of it's guaranteed.
Yeah, it depends on the guaranteed percentage.
Yeah,
usually that's a tough part.
They should definitely start grooming up. I mean, they got Pollard, but they should definitely draft it back sometime. Not in the first round. And I still in contention. I think Dallas would be in a whole lot better position if they would have drafted Ramsey instead of Zeke. I still believe that because Ramsey would be you may not get Diggs, but I think they could have changed that, made that defense even more explosive, super locked down. But who knows? Zeke would have been with the Rams maybe, but I don't know if the Rams would even took Zeke. But who knows?
He would have been with the Jags.
Ugh, yuck, bro. That's where players go to die as a Jags.
Yep.
Look at Trevor Lawrence.
Lawrence, man.
All world his whole career, then goes to the Jags, and it's like an afterthought.
I'd rather go to the Jets. At least you're in New York, man.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, what is your goal? Because both franchises kind of suck. Is your goal to save as much possible money? Because then I would go to the Jags.
Fair.
But if you want to go to a better franchise that maybe has, because if I had to pick in terms of franchises who, if I'm a quarterback where I want to go, I could be like, okay, at least I can point to Joe Namath and be like, I know that happened whenever Joe Namath played, but they have that. The Jags don't have anything you can point to be
Nothing.
like,
David Garrard.
Fred Taylor. Yeah, that's it.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the only thing you can point to. So it's you can say, maybe I could turn myself around with the Jets, but
I don't know. The Jaguars owner, man, pretty stupid, man. He hired Urban Myers. What a moron.
True.
And people warned him.
Did.
And he's like, we'll get Urban Myers. And only good thing they did is fire his ass, and they're not gonna want to pay him.
They might actually be able to get off on that too.
Cause. You get fired for
yeah.
cause. They fired for cause for a specific reason. I think the kicking incident. Boom.
Yep.
No money for you, Urban Myers.
Final straw.
Bro, beautiful. I think that's why they fired him. The minute that story got leaked, they're like, okay, we got cause, baby. Yep. We got cause.
I hope they slip Josh Lambo a cool $500,000 or something like that. You know.
No.
Thanks for leaking the story to ESPN, man.
Yeah, that might be. Now that you say that might be a thing. Not saying 100%. I'm accusing that he's lying, but yeah,
he ain't lying.
No, he ain't lying. I think he just didn't want to bring it up. He's probably it probably wasn't as bad as it sounded. Let's just put it
somewhere
that
in the middle. It probably was a kick where you're like, come on, bro, you can't kick me like that. But it wasn't a kick where it was he reared back, I feel and just tried to actually kick a field goal and kicked him in the leg. I don't think he did that.
It's not like he was trying to knock him out in a UFC fight or something like
that. But Urban Meyer is
smart.
He's smart, though, because Urban Meyer knows he can get that off with a kicker. He's not going up to the linebacker saying, hey, I need you to tackle better and kicking him in the leg. Because the linebacker probably would have stole off on him. He probably would have put him in a headlock and actually fought the coach. I think he did that to a kicker because he knew he can get away with it. He knew the kicker was kind of going to be who knows? But nah, You can't be. I know one kicker you wouldn't have kicked like that is Pat McAfee. If Pat McAfee was still in the league, or he's a punter, I think. Pat McAfee
Either
probably
way.
would have squared up with him. He would have squared up with him for
Dude,
sure.
he would have come back at him like, dude, that's my only asset. You're kicking my leg of all places. Come on, man.
Pat McAfee would have came. He would have definitely came and handled Urban Meyer. So
Yes.
yeah, if they're able to get off that contract, that they might actually get a really good coach. Because like you said, you got a talent guy with Jacksonville, and right now I think they actually have the number 1 pick with Detroit's win last week. So if they get back-to-back number 1 picks with ETN coming back, that's an attractive job.
I went to kind of switching. Just you mentioned the Lions real quick. Do you guys think Cliff Kingsbury's on a little bit of a hot seat right now? Just with since Kyler's come back,
I never believed in the Cardinals, man. I told you, guys, the Cardinals, man. That record, man, give me a lot of Steelers vibes from last year, man. That's what I feel. I'm just like, I feel like they could lose in the first round. I think they might lose in the first round depending on the matchup.
You know, it's fun. I'm telling you, man. 3 teams are going to make the playoffs from that NFC West division. That's ridiculous. I mean,
everyone except Seattle.
Everyone except Seattle. Yep, pretty much.
And you could argue that's the best quarterback in that division, and he's not going to make the playoffs.
Absolutely. But he had that finger injury, which caused him a world of pain. But yeah, man. See, I mean, they're playing right now. It looks like a pretty rough game, but I mean, there's probably only one other coach that I'm actually like kind of high on going into the playoffs, and that's Frank Reich, man. This Colts team is kind of surprising me. I mean, he's obviously he's quarterback's coach for Carson Wentz. We all know that story, but he's kind of set aside. I don't know if it's really an ego because I don't think he has too big of an ego, but his friendship and relationship with Carson Wentz, he's realized that their strength is running the ball, obviously with their stud O-line and Jonathan Taylor.
I know all about Jonathan Taylor being a beast, man. He dropped a 67-yard touchdown on my asshole in the last 2 minutes of the game. That hurt, man.
There you go.
Cost me a championship round.
Yeah, and he does. Yeah, he doesn't ask.
I just realized that, man. That was 67-yard touchdown. If he didn't do that shit, I would be in the finals.
Yep.
Fuck Jonathan Taylor. What a beast.
Yeah, he's so good, man. And look, Frank Reich's sticking with him, and he realized, this is what we have to do if we want to win football games. And they just ended the Patriots win streak
too.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm interested to see where they go because with that AFC being pretty wide open, I would not be surprised if we see the Patriots and the Colts face off again. And with Belichick's shortness in his post-game interview, we'll see how that turns out. But I don't know why he apologized. I think
that's very weird.
His PR team probably said, might as well be safe and just apologize for it. But hey, man, Mac Jones had a rough start to that game, and the Colts just took advantage. So they eat up a lot of clock, and I think watching like a Colts Chiefs game would be really interesting. Just with the Chiefs being able to, quick strike, they do move a little slower.
Chiefs is that high pace aerial attack. Well, the Colts is freaking just JT.
yeah, and they had a couple good
matchups
in previous playoffs with Andrew Luck and like Alex Smith back in the day. So I don't know. That's definitely a team that I see trending probably the most upward besides the Chiefs in the AFC right now.
I want to see Mahomes on the road.
Agreed.
I want to see that before. Like we all know he's great, but I just want to see him. Like, I don't want to see like how Brady did, but just like him go on the road and win like a playoff game. That'd just be cool to see because I think he could do it. It's just I want to see it because he's always just been at home.
Well, wasn't the Super Bowl in Tampa last year?
Was it? Yeah, it was in Tampa.
Yeah, he played on the road.
Yeah, but that's basically a road game. Yeah.
And he got
blitzed that game.
Wrecked.
He got wrecked. His line was crazy.
Awful Super Bowl, man. That was an awful Super Bowl.
Which was worse, that one or the what was it? Rams
Patriots. Oh, I'd rather watch the Chiefs game.
I can't even remember. That might be the one Super Bowl in the last 10 years I can't even remember like watching. It was so bad. Like I was checked out after the third quarter. Like I was just like, I can't do this.
It was boring as hell, man.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Let's
hope we don't get one of those this year.
No, I don't think.
If Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl, we'll be getting a show.
Yeah, we're going to ham.
This dude better make it, man. He ain't getting any younger, man. He's close to 40. This dude might not have many opportunities after this year.
They need a healthy Aaron Jones, and the fact that they're doing this all without Bakhtiari, they're starting stud, arguably the best left tackle in the league, or up there, top
crazy,
3.
Yeah, crazy.
The entire season.
They were down to a third string guy.
Yeah,
they lost someone else, the backup, and the O line looks fine.
They look
Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't get touched. He doesn't.
The only
get
thing
touched.
is they're running. I know AJ Dillon had some big runs here and there, but their running game's probably been the only thing that's been affected a little bit. Aaron Jones isn't breaking off big runs like he used to against solid, defenses where Packers' previous offensive lines might have actually still opened up holes and all that. So, but look, man, it's still Rodgers, and he's bound to carry. So I'm not putting anything past
and knowing where to go with the ball, I think, is a big thing that helps your line. When you're a quarterback that's been playing forever, and that's why Brady is a testament to how his greatness. Like people talk about, well, he just has a stacked line. It's true, but you can't just put any quarterback behind every line. Like when you know where to go, and you've been playing for so long, and you also have Devontae Adams. It makes your line look a little bit better. You're not like, listen, that same line, and this goes to Zoo point about Jordan Love. When Jordan Love was back there, the line looked awful. Why? Because Jordan Love didn't know where to go with the ball.
Yeah,
he just
indecisive.
was back there, and the line looked awful that game. Made Kansas City's defense look like it was all world when it really wasn't.
Yeah, that was the 84 Bears against Jordan Love.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
But when you know where to go with the ball, like your line is not as tasked to, unless they send like a blitz or something, which is not every play. So I think a coach, and I know I was just ragging on the Chiefs, not really ragging on the Chiefs, but saying I wanted to see Mahomes win a playoff game on the road. I think out of the coaches who are potentially teams we know they're probably going to be in the playoffs, I think I have a lot of faith in Reed, just because I know he won a Super Bowl already, and people, I don't think they forget, but he had teams in Philadelphia that were right on the cusp in the playoffs. It was just they were one game away from getting to the Super Bowl, and he actually got to the Super Bowl with the Eagles. So
lost to the
out
Patriots.
of most of the coaches that are there, outside of the obvious one with Belichick, like he's got a really strong track record and has been doing it for years.
Playoffs,
and he's got a dog.
Make playoffs,
yeah.
That's why
he does that all the time.
That's why everybody tries to hire an Andy Reid prodigy, and we all know how that turns out. So
was Nick Sirianni under Andy Reid? I can't remember.
I know the former Eagles coach was the guy who took Foles and Wentz and all them, and then obviously Nagy, Mr. Self-proclaimed offensive guru.
I saw the Nagy chants on.
There's a fire Nagy at the Bulls game, man.
Yeah, at the Bulls game, man. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's gonna work, man. I remember last time they were saying fire guard packs. It did happen, man. So fire Nagy, man. They might have to put up a billboard just to.
No, man. That firing has been locked in since about week 8. Let's be completely honest here. But yeah, man. No, that's
gonna make it.
Andy Reid, Sean, I completely agree with you. He's got to be the coach that I believe the most. Matt LaFleur, he's just still young, and I think he's just riding. Similarly, Zoo, I think he might have a little bit of.
We'll see how good of a coach he is if Aaron Rodgers leaves.
Exactly.
Jordan Love, the development of Jordan Love, yeah,
exactly. But then once again, man, I still don't think you can completely count out Belichick as a coach, man. You can't. He's always going to outcoach you on defense. It's just that the Colts happen to destroy them with the running game. He gave them some of their own medicine that they did to the Bills. So that was, you can't count Belichick out whatsoever, but I think, he doesn't have as much talent as Andy Reid does. And that could end up being the AFC Championship game. You never really know. That'd be a hell of a champ game.
Patriots, Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably some good money.
Or the Colts. I think it's one of those three. It's going to be a rotation of those
Patriots,
three
Colts
making
might
the
be
champ
even
game.
more money. Because I definitely think the Chiefs are going to be there, but that other team whoever the other team is playing the Chiefs is going to be a complete wild card.
Yeah, I don't buy in on the Titans, the Ravens. You want to talk about a coach that I've lost complete faith in, John Harbaugh, man. After those 2 decisions, I don't understand. They are out of the playoffs right now. They're out of the playoffs.
You have Justin Tucker. Use the best kicker in football, please.
Exactly. And you're only asking him to make an extra point. That's all you're asking him to do, man. And so I don't know. Look, man, I'm like you said, Zoo, I'm all about taking the risks every once in a while. But if it doesn't work and you run the same exact play, the same exact 2-point conversion play that didn't work 2 weeks ago, you can't expect him to.
I understand Huntley is a limited quarterback, so they say, but
he got 4
touchdowns,
game. Man. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
He cut off half the
Lamar
field
2.0.
with that rollout. Like to me, it should have been something more. If you're gonna do something or roll out and having half the field cut off, it needs to be a design run or some type of trick play, not cutting off half the field and you only have a couple of options. I know Mark Andrews was his main target, but I just didn't like the play call. I didn't like the play.
That's another reason why I lost. Mark Andrews dropped the 30
play Taylor and Mark Andrews.
Dropped the 30 piece on my asshole, man. And I had freaking Mike Gesicki.
Miami actually, and their
another
teams have been really bad that they played. But you still got to win those games, and they were so down in the dumps. Like, I don't know. Tua to me is such an enigma because he just doesn't throw the ball down the field yet. I got to see him throw more passes. And I guess you could say maybe he didn't have the receiving talent. And he has Waddle, but I don't know. I think Waddle might have been out that game. I don't know.
He was out. Devonta Parker had a nice game.
Yeah, but he's got to throw the ball downfield a little bit more for me to be like, okay, I'm more confident in him. But they look like they kind of got their bearings now. Like they're kind of a team that's trending to once they end up ending this year, they could be a team to watch out for next year if Tua keeps making that progression. But it's going to be because how many they have a couple first round picks, don't they? I think they did.
I don't know who they would have traded to maybe get those, or if they had traded in the draft at all. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're looking up. I mean, they do have they've won 6 or 7 in a row, I think, at this point, and their last 3 are against the Saints, the Titans, and the Patriots. So it's not a cakewalk, but and I think they're about a game out of playoffs at this point in the AFC. I think one of the 8 and 6 teams has that final spot. It might be the Bills. And who knows? I mean, with the way that's shaken out, especially within the same division, the Dolphins and the Bills, it could get interesting with some tiebreakers because right now tiebreakers are ridiculous in the NFL right now. Mm-hmm. It's like going down to like 3-4 different levels, like conference winning percentage. So it'll be tough to keep. I don't know how they keep tracking all that stuff, but they got a full team on it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, we'll see what the NFL. We kind of have an idea of what the playoffs are going to be. There still could be a little bit of movement, but in terms of the big dogs that we were just talking about, they're solidified in the playoffs. So it's all going to be about seeding and who gets home field advantage and who gets by. So we're going to keep an eye on that. I want to get one last topic in with the guys. It's been a lot of movement in the NBA with COVID protocols. Personally, it's making me kind of nervous because every day, especially on the Bullheaded podcast, I'm just looking at a bunch of guys, superstars, like, oh, that superstar's out. This superstar's out. This superstar's out. And it's just like kind of getting to a point where I don't think there's going to be a pause. And I think Adam Silver actually came out and said, we're not going to pause any type of basketball, which makes sense because there's money to be made. And they have to
Christmas games, man. Yeah. They got to make money on those Christmas games.
They got to make money
for advertisers.
Yeah. Now, if you ask him this maybe January, he might be like, it might. But, yeah, the Christmas games have to be played. Superstars or not. So, yeah, he's got he's got money to give to ABC and all those partners. So, we just know for now that the games will not be paused around Christmas. But I wanted to kind of ask the guys right now it's kind of getting close to, like, the midway point in the NBA season. And I know a lot of people are not paying attention, but we keep an eye on this stuff. Who they think is in their conference finals. Now, this is not the NBA finals. This is not the first round. This is the conference finals. Who would they say right now in both conferences would be their conference final picks? And I'm going to start with Zoo, and we're going to start in the Eastern Conference and kind of have a deal.
Wonder where he's going.
We back, baby. We back. The Bulls are going back to the conference finals. First time since Derrick Rose MVP season, baby. This team, oh my Lord, they have exceeded my expectations. I have them as a top 4 seed. I have them as number 4. Man, they number 2, baby, right behind the Brooklyn Nets, baby. And you know what I'm saying right now? They have an opportunity. To get a beautiful, beautiful matchup if they get the seeding right. If you got the Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks face off before the Chicago Bulls, the Bulls will make it to the conference final.
I agree.
Easy, man. Easy. So this seeding will matter. COVID protocols will matter. These are a lot of factors this year. And hopefully after this whole COVID thing hit the Bulls, hopefully that shit's over. Hopefully that shit's over.
the next variant.
And then we can get it done with the king of the fourth and DeMar DeRozan. Zach LaVine will be back, dropping 27 a game. My Lord, Lonzo Ball throwing lobs. He a better QB than any QB on the Chicago Bears, man. You see
Hell yeah,
he is. Oh, my Lord. Lonzo Ball just like, whoop. Dude, Lonzo Ball as a passer of the football or basketball, elite, baby. Baby. Like, it's beautiful thing to watch. It is beautiful to watch. And shout out to Caruso, man. My God, this team is beautiful.
He could be first team all defense if he keeps it up.
Lonzo Ball might be the first point guard to average over 1.5 steals and 1 block a game.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. He had 5 steals last night.
My God, that dude's hand's always in the cookie jar. So oh my, this team has a chance to be special especially in a weird season this year. Like this is one of those weird seasons. It's not like chalk. So the Chicago Bulls got to take advantage. Maybe they're going to be aggressive at the trade deadline. Maybe add a big off the bench because, man, we got no bigs. That's the one thing with this team. We got no bigs, and that's why if they play Giannis in the playoffs
or Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, low-key Cleveland does not match well with the Bulls because they got 3 7-footers in their starting lineup, and the Bulls all our dudes are like 6'10" or under.
Yep.
So low-key,
one of those 7-footers have to come off the bench. If that was an actual matchup in the series, you can't have 3 7-footers.
That's what Cleveland's been doing. They're winning games. Surprisingly, that's definitely the biggest shock of the season. Cleveland Cavaliers are a legitimate team with a bunch of young dudes. Like shout out to Jared Allen because $20 million a year
MVP of that
looks
team.
like dude. He looks like a bargain at $20 million a year.
He do
like a bargain.
The Nets could definitely need him. Actually,
yeah,
the Nets could definitely need him.
Bro.
Definitely need him
instead of Blake,
dude. Bro, I still remember when they had both DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen. DeAndre Jordan was playing.
That was politics, though. That was
that was like I'm Katie's best friend. I'm Katie's best friend.
Yeah,
baby.
Katie, Kyrie. I'm
bro.
Cool
Katie got DeAndre Jordan a $40 million bag, man, and a job. Like Katie, that's what he did, man. Because Jared Allen, everybody knew Jared Allen was better, but oh man, Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls, baby.
That's your. I was gonna say you got Nets in there too.
Mm-hmm.
I got Bulls Cavs too. No, I'm just
what?
I gotta say I'm turning.
No, I got Bulls. I do have Bulls Nets as well. I think just the way that Zoo, to your point, if seeding, there's we got a long way to go, man, for actual seeding purposes and seeing who's going to be facing off in the first round. But if the Nets and the Bucks have to face off before they do play the Bulls, whether that be in the first or the semi, in the second round. I mean, you're looking at. I'm taking personally the Nets in that series. I don't like the way that the Bucks.
Middleton's injured too.
Yeah, Middleton's out. Bucks didn't even really. They barely snuck it out against pretty much just a KD only Nets team last year.
Yeah, last year.
No Joe Harris. Joe Harris was non-existent.
He's not even
have
now.
That support. Yeah. He's kind of non-existent now. But look, man, if they can get Harden back, giving him 20 points, nearly 10 assists a game, they've both been relatively healthy, him and Durant. You got Kyrie coming in with the best part-time position in the world. So, if he does have to play, he can play half the series. That's really shitty for any team that has to play him because you're preparing 2 different ways every other game. Or, if they play 2 games at home, 2 on the way, right? It's a little different. But I'm interested to see how that goes. But Zoo, I got to agree with you, man. Got Bulls Nets here right now. There's nobody else that's really, standing out to me as like they're a lock for the conference finals. The Bucks are probably the only other maybe throw-in team, just because Giannis can cause any team problems except maybe the Cavs. The Cavs may actually be able to hold their own against the Bucks. I am interested to see if the Cavs make a little push, though, man.
I didn't even think about that.
I am interested.
Is there size? And
they could be the Hawks of last year.
They can, because Darius Garland took a step this year. He's like a 19-7 type of dude. Like he's putting up some numbers with like it's just a weird team. They're going against the grain. Like everybody's going small ball. They're being the contrarian. Yeah. If they pull off being the contrarian, you could dominate because you could just dominate the glass. Defensively, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, rim protecting. They got 2 rim protectors. And in the playoffs, especially ISO basketball, but pick and roll basketball, these guys can guard guards. Like when they can switch Evan Mobley onto DeMar DeRozan. You can switch Jared Allen to Zach LaVine. So that is something that no other team has. 2 elite big rim protectors. Usually everyone may have 1 at most.
Maybe.
They got 2 rim protectors. Oh, yeah. Bulls got 0 rim protectors.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Bulls got 0. Like, Vooch ain't no rim protector. He's a post defender. So the Cavaliers, shout out to Bickerstaff for his coaching. He might be coach of the year in my books because what he's done with a young team.
Super young.
And it's all new players. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, like they're doing this out. Colin Sexton, Darius Garland had to go in and be the true point. Like they got Ricky Rubio, some nice veteran presence. Like what they have done is a miracle. It is impressive, and shout out to Bickerstaff for putting it all together. Because I didn't know what they were doing when they signed Lauri Markkanen. I was like, why are you signing a 7-footer, a guy that might?
I don't think they knew either. I just think they saw a guy who was talented.
$16 million a year.
Yeah,
they went with talent.
14 points, 6 rebounds. Like he's like a small forward, pretty much. Like it was a weird fit, but they're making it work. They're getting W's. And I thought it was a fluke. It's like the Wizards. I knew that was a fluke.
Yeah, they
I knew that
definitely
was a fluke.
regressed to the
I
mean.
saw that roster. I'm like, Spencer Dinwiddie and Kaku's. Man, stop it. They ain't a top
Mhm.
4 seed. And they regressed to the mean like always. But
Definitely.
the Cavaliers.
Yes.
Bravo. to
6
the
in a row,
Cavs.
man. And Zoo, the biggest thing for me, they have the best plus minus in points in the Eastern Conference.
Mm.
Wow.
So they're a good defensive team. I mean, they're giving up only 101 a game in the current day NBA. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. That's like about
That's
at least 7 points. That's
pretty
about
impressive.
7 under the average, I would guess. I'd guess the NBA average nowadays is probably about 107, 108. Can't tell you off the top of my head, but the fact that they're playing that well defensively, to Zoo's point, the rim protection, man, that alone in this current day NBA, it makes a world of a difference, especially when one of your big men can actually stretch the floor. You know, Lauri Markkanen can stretch the floor. We've seen him reign in Chicago maybe every 10 games, right, Zoo? Is that fair to say? So, you know, they have a lot of guys that are
he
contributing.
got that one Dirk performance.
Yes.
But then he got like 4 more Andrea Bargnani performances. That was the
Exactly.
issue. That was the problem with Lauri Markkanen.
Raptors legend. You know what's interesting about the Cavs too? I think when you're talking about the matchups, people don't really. I don't know. I mean, people watch Cavs games now because they're winning, but I also think what another thing people haven't really noticed is they have another guy, Okoro, who he's still a young guy in their system or whatever, but he's a like super superb defensive guy, and he's like a 6'6" wing.
Mhm.
So I think in terms of matchups, that could maybe be something like for the playoffs. You know, if they maybe trust him on the offensive side of the ball, that could be a guy that they could switch in and maybe have Markkanen coming off the bench because he's another guy who they picked really high, and I think his offensive game hadn't developed, but he's a really good defensive player. So it's like if they need a wing that could come out and maybe give Markkanen some minutes on the bench, you know, to start a game, like that might be another piece. So, you know, the Cavs, it's so weird because it's obvious when you think of like the Eastern Conference, you think of the Nets, you think of the Bulls, you think of, even though the Bucks are where they are right now, you still think of the Bucks because the Bucks won it last year. But the Cavs, like you say, they're so interesting with their versatility and their like size. And I think Mobley, if Mobley keeps going and just, you know, he's a rookie now, but if he just keeps going and going and going, he's just going to keep getting better. Bro, I don't
Anthony
know.
Davis, man.
Yeah.
He has a very similar season as
Very
Anthony
similar
Davis.
game.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm
Let's
still
just hope his
listen, I'm
ankle
not
doesn't
picking-
cause as many
Yeah,
problems.
hopefully he doesn't become street clothes, but
Yeah.
this dude balling every day.
Yeah, I don't think I would have to go out on a limb and say I don't think Mobley's going to be that because he's so young right now. But I'm not gonna. I'm with you guys. I'm not gonna put the Cavs. You know, it's nice right now. I gotta maybe if we're having this conversation in February around the All-Star break and the Cavs are still a top 4 seed, then it's like, all right, yeah, we're gonna start giving them more
I
credit.
think you could lock him in. I mean,
Playoffs?
I would say I'm locking him in
Top
for
6?
non-playing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they're not playing.
I have him hovering
I'll
around
lock
that.
in.
I have him
Yeah.
eventually hovering around that 5-6
That's
spot
a fact.
because, you know, who knows who's going to drop out of there. The Sixers, you know, they're still kind of figuring stuff out. I don't see really the Celtics making that much. Unless
They need
they
to blow
just
that
pull
up.
off, unless they pull
Blow
off
it
the
up.
Jaylen Brown for Lillard trade, because
Blow
I
it
think
up.
that's the team that needs to do it.
Yeah,
Is
gotta
they
blow it
need
up, man.
to pull the trigger, get Lillard, and make him uncomfortable, make him leave Portland and give him a chance in a slightly easier conference, I guess, you know, quote unquote, still early in the season.
They got
And that team might be back in the discussion for not conference finals necessarily, but making it tough for some opponents,
Somebody,
especially
yeah.
if they still stay around like that 6 seed. They could cause some problems to a 3 seed pretty easily, especially if it's like the Bucks without Chris Middleton. So
yeah.
we'll see.
It's still wait and see approach with the Cavs. But if we're having this conversation, like I said, in February, then, you know, just their pieces in general is going to be. Now, I don't know if Sexton out for the year? I'm not sure.
think he is.
Because if he isn't, I don't like him coming back and messing up the chemistry.
yep.
Because he
he's
would
out
have.
this- Yep. He's
I think
out
he
this
tore
season.
his-
Okay,
did
well
he tear
then,
his
yeah, I'm fine
Achilles?
on that.
meniscus.
Meniscus. There you go.
That's another
But-
trade asset because he's
They're better without him.
Yeah.
Like Colin Sexton reminds me a little of Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook.
Plays hard, high energy, great bucket getter, not a true point guard.
No,
Darius
better
Garland's the
shooter,
most-
way better shooter though.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Darius Garland is the point guard of the team. That's what they
Yeah.
found out.
And that's what they needed. Sometimes
Pick and
it's
roll, but
yeah.
Jared Allen, pretty good, man. It's
Yeah.
pretty good. Pretty good. Little reminds me a little of trade Clint Capella action. High pick and roll, man. So I know for a fact that Cleveland Cavaliers are legit because they whooped my Bulls. That's why I know that you're a legit team. They
whooped them.
It wasn't even a close game. I was just like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. But then you got the West, man. The West's a little more lopsided, I think. I mean,
I think the West is way
got the
easier,
Jazz hovering per usual, man. It's an annual thing for the Utah
Get
Jazz
out of here. I hate it. Listen,
I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping again. I'm sleeping on him.
I love Donovan. Get him out of here, man. Sorry.
And just quick shout out, glad Ja's back. He got a lot of hate because they lost their first game when he came back.
Memphis fans, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's wild. They won a lot of games without Ja.
And he comes back. And they lose the first one. And he removes social media. He's like, I need a break, man. All these people are just coming at me. So I think they'll be fine. They're gonna probably end up, continuing to make the playoffs. But without the Lakers really surging, I mean, they've lost 2 in a row now. One of them to our Bulls do.
They're the definition of a 500 team.
They're 500
really
team.
500.
Without AD, they're going to probably continue to just kind of stay 500.
Definitely.
If he's out for a month.
Yeah, win one, lose one, lose
and
2,
then
win 1. Yeah.
You just got the Suns and the Warriors, man. That's my conference finals. I think you have to put those two.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one coming out, I think this is probably the tougher of the 2 conferences to pick who will actually make the finals. But with Clay coming back next month, man.
That's why I'm like,
this
I don't
could be
think
interesting.
Tough. That's why I
but
feel
you
like
know who else might come back too?
Jamal Murray?
No. No, I'm talking about the guy on the Warriors that might ruin the chemistry.
James Wiseman, baby.
Might ruin the chemistry.
He's probably not going to get a lot of minutes, bro.
I don't think he will.
He may get 15.
Number 2 overall pick, not getting much minutes, sounding like a bust to me.
They might trade him, hey.
For what? A bag of Doritos? Because that's all he's worth right now, man.
Come on, dog. He's not a bag of Doritos.
He's not Kwame Brown.
Seriously, come on, bro. The disrespect with Wiseman.
Nah, man.
Let me tell you something.
All I see is Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball, and I'm like, my Lord. Anthony Edwards is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's a genetic freak.
They didn't have the chance to pick him.
I know, but I'm just looking at the people that were surrounding him, and he's looking like, okay, he's not the Kwame Brown, he's the Darko Milicic.
I'd say he's more of an Andrea Bargnani. He'll have a solid career, but he'll just won't live up to it.
Let me tell you, Wiseman, where does he go? But unless you're thinking he shouldn't have been a top 5 pick, where was he going to go?
I said that. Remember, we had the draft show. I said he should have.
He did say.
I did say that.
Like, I don't know what situation. I don't even know who the top 5 was, but he wouldn't have been. I think the Warriors is his best situation. He wouldn't have been great in Charlotte, and he wouldn't have been great in Minnesota.
Yeah, he needed to play with a point guard.
Yeah,
he's the type of guy that you add to a solidified team
and let him grow.
Yeah.
Oh, they're regretting that. They're regretting that.
I think they're fine. I mean, I think the only way they regret it is if Steph falls off a cliff next year, and then they have to rely on him.
Steph needs a sidekick, man. Klay Thompson is still a wild card, coming off 2 catastrophic injuries. Mm-hmm. It is not a guarantee he stays healthy all year. Like, that's not a given. And I feel like Steph Curry, they're having this ridiculous start. I don't think they can win a championship with just Steph Curry.
No.
Jordan Poole's really good.
Oh man, stop it.
Wiggins is very streaky.
As a sidekick, but you need a sidekick. Like Steph Curry's the MVP guy. He needs a sidekick to win a championship. Mm-hmm. If Klay Thompson's not the sidekick, who's it gonna be? Andrew Wiggins? I don't think
Hell no.
Yeah, Iguodala,
too inconsistent.
Iguodala will hit one shot.
It might be Draymond, but Draymond's more a defensive guy. He's not an elite offensive player.
They're more of what is their little slogan? Strength in numbers.
Strength in numbers.
Warriors. I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, strength in numbers. They had the Splash Brothers, man.
Now the playoffs are different. The playoffs, I will agree, are a different because, like you say, regular season. I think running people out the gym is more of a thing. But yeah, when you get in a 7-game series, you saw that Suns game, and I just saw that little. I wouldn't say he's the kryptonite, but Miles Bridges guarding Steph, that kind of gave a little bit of a blueprint of you stick a guy like him on Steph. He's not going to destroy Steph, but he's definitely going to make it difficult for him to score. And if you don't have somebody like Clay on the other side, it could get hairy for the Golden State. But I don't know, man. If Clay can come back and just be 65 to 70% with Poole and all those other guys, I think they're clear cut.
Yeah, just camp in the corner. Yeah, just hit your threes, man. That's all it is.
Clear cut to me.
Oh,
and then like you say, that's what goes to my point with Wiseman. If Wiseman just comes in, he don't have to do a lot of crazy stuff. Just come in, get a couple boards, offensive rebounds, putbacks. He'll be fine.
Get a little pick and
roll.
They
don't have that right now. They don't really have a guy in the middle who can do that. I think Wiseman is good enough to be put back, screen. I think he can do that. and then he'll progress. Hopefully, he'll progress. Because I'm telling you, I'm not even comparing the guys because Mobley's a better guy. But go look look at Wiseman's tapes, bro. He was just Mobley. He just hasn't had the start yet. He's been hurt. Go look at his high school tape. He can dribble and do all that too. That Mobley can.
He is not Evan Mobley.
Evan Mobley hasn't been hurt. Wiseman has been hurt, bro.
Yeah.
Even though I would take Mobley, but it's close.
Nah,
so you gotta go watch it. Hey man, when we get off the pod, go watch his tape, man.
Nah, you know what they said about James Wiseman in high school? He didn't even dominate those All-Star games, man. I remember
nobody dominates All-Star. They're freaking getting drunk and talking to girls during All-Star games. Like they ain't caring about All-Star games. Yeah. Like the Jordan Brand Classic, they're all just having a good time trying to find a new honey. Like they
gotta be able to. If you can't dominate in high school, how can you dominate in the NBA? That's all I gotta say.
I think he'll be fine. But I do think, for me, just personally, I think Golden State. No disrespect to the Suns because CP3 is the reason why and D Book are the reason why the Suns are always going to be there. I just think I was kind of down on the Golden State at first because their schedule was kind of easy, but then when I saw the Steph going berserk, if Clay just is like I say 60%, they're gonna be. I think they're gonna zoom right past. So, and like you said, the X factor. I don't. In the West, the reason why I feel like it's so clear cut because I don't see any other team that's just like, that's a sleeper. Like all the other teams are kind of. Like the Lakers, as bad as they've been, I think they're the 6th and 7th seed. So that kind of tells you like they're still kind of almost in the play-in, out of the play-in. So it's like Denver, no. Lakers, Utah. Listen, and there's no shade to Utah. I just think they're Donovan Mitchell and bust, and I just don't like that. I don't like that.
Yep,
I don't like it. So with Utah, who else? I just don't
unless
have
they
faith in
make a
nobody.
move at the trade deadline.
They would have to.
They'd be a team that needs to make a move at the trade deadline.
They need another perimeter guy to pair up with Donovan Mitchell.
Lillard.
Ugh, I don't even like that. Mitchell needs
it's like who else?
He needs you know what he needs? Mitchell actually needs a big guy that could score. Like if he had a Karl Anthony Towns, I think they would be unlocked even more. Go Bird, I think, because I think Donovan's game he needs a big man that he can do pick and roll with, can pop a three. Like I think that would really expand Donovan. Him having a defensive center, I think. And then they paid him, so this like who the hell is going to take that contract? I mean, I don't know. But
the Jazz, man, because when the Jazz, I think if the Lakers play the Jazz, Lakers go in Western Conference Finals.
Wait, if they played the Jazz.
No, he's right. He's probably right.
Like
in the
3
first round.
the 3 versus 6 seed, right? I'm definitely taking the Lakers over. Definitely taking the Lakers over that team.
If AD's healthy.
Yeah, that is a big if. And like LeBron,
that's probably the biggest.
Yeah, that is a big if because street clothes. He never shows up. So
80's about 80's.
Except
if AD doesn't do anything this year in terms of like playoffs and has like some legendary games, he's starting to. We can start throwing out the question: is he the guy like a true, not a number 1 or 2? Is he even a guy you want to build around anymore?
Is he a Hall of Famer?
No, he's a Hall of Famer.
No, he's a Hall of Famer. But
everybody makes the NBA.
But he ain't a top 75.
Put it this way: if I'm a Lakers fan and LeBron's gone after 2 years, I'm not like, all right,
it's over. It's over.
Like,
yeah,
I'm not sitting there like,
I agree.
All right, now we got AD and whoever. No, I'm not thinking. I'm thinking to myself like, can we get somebody to trade for AD? Like that's what I'm thinking. Like AD would have and I think Russ' contract would be off by then, so the Russ would be gone because the Lakers wouldn't be dumb enough to resign Russ again. But like if LeBron's gone in 2 years, which is maybe that happens, I'm not a Lakers fan. Be like, all right, yes, we got AD, and who's the superstar coming? Like you better hope a superstar wants to come and pair with AD, not you pinning all your hopes on AD.
AD a sidekick, man. He's the definition of Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have the mentality of a number 1 dude.
And that championship is weird. I think it might have almost hindered him in terms of the go get it. I gotta go be the star now. I almost feel like he's like, okay, now I got the
he a beta,
I got
man.
the whatever. Like, it's just he's just always knick-knack injured. And it's weird because you would think playing with LeBron, the load wouldn't be as much, but it's like he just continues to always like he is the king of laying down when he gets hit. It almost is like it's done for the season every time. And then he gets up. It's just like
he's just like rolling back and forth like SpongeBob.
It's kind of weird. And he looks bigger too. Like he's like like big
Yeah.
now. Like he, if you go look back at even before he got traded to the Lakers, he was a big guy, but he was still kind of a little more slender, long arm. Like he looks a whole lot more bulkier now. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. And he's been injured, he hasn't been able to maybe get in shape. And I'm off killing AD because he's still a superstar, but our star. But another guy and this is real quick because we're almost at like close to an hour. Luka needs to get in shape.
Yeah.
And Luka needs to freaking listen to a head coach. I love Luka, but my God, bro. He whines on every freaking call and he goes to the line like crazy. He gets calls and he's out of shape. What is up with, like, I don't get with NBA, especially, I feel like when you think of pro sports, I feel like NBA is the last sport you would think of because just the nature of the sport you're running. How are you out of shape? I don't get it. You're constantly running.
I think Doncic I don't think he's obviously not as bad as what Zion's situation is, but I think they're both in the similar boat of their frustrated.
Yeah, Luka is a thicker dude, man. He's definitely on the thicker side.
I wasn't even getting.
You saw that dude. You saw when that dude was in 18 in Real Madrid. That dude was a thick boy. Like he was like 210, 220. Like you got the Brandon Ingrams of the world, and you got the Luka Doncic who's big boned. So like it's easier for Luka to put on weight, and I don't know. He's like after balling with Slovenia, probably like went on vacation and drinking too many Mountain
That's
Dews.
he played he played USA basketball and came in out of shape. Makes no sense to me. Just none.
I'm telling you, I think he's similar to Zion. I think he's frustrated with the situation.
Oh,
they haven't really done much for him.
If you're frustrated, come on home to Chicago. We got a great situation over here. Great situation.
No, but that's
Zion
kind of how
Arturos.
they try to leverage their value players
Jason
more
sucks,
so now.
Man. Jason Kidd sucks at coaching.
And he thought he could incorporate Kristaps.
Yeah. What's with the NBA hiring guys who are good point guards, man? Just because you were a good point guard doesn't mean you're
kind of like the quarterbacks in the NFL. They all get OC jobs.
Yeah, I'm like Chauncey Billups, same thing. Like he was a good point guard and he got hired as a coach. Now looking so good. Like they're not even in the play-in tournament right now. And that's annoying because the Bulls own that draft pick and they need them to make the playoffs to get that lottery pick. To get that pick.
Yeah, what a shame. Dame is definitely I know what he's saying on social media, but he's on his back channels right now trying to figure out a way to get up out of there. I don't know where he would end up, but yeah, I don't know. The NBA is kind of just like the NFL and a lot of pro sports. When you're the point guard, the quarterback, maybe if you're like a running back, maybe, but yeah, it's the main thinking positions, as they would say. Yeah, you're definitely going to get a shot because they just think you know it all, and sometimes with the NBA more so, it's talent. I mean, NFL, you might, if you're a schemer and you can think, you might be able to figure out some stuff.
You can win with less.
NBA, it's a dude. You got to have the dudes. And I don't care what scheme, like, shout out to Nick Nurse. If Klay Thompson is healthy and Kevin Durant's healthy, he's not winning that championship. He won that because those guys got hurt and it was basically whatever was going on, and he had Kawhi. He had a dude, but people got hurt. You can't scheme it up in the NBA. You got to have dudes that can play, just point blank. It's been proven since the dawn of the NBA time. I think it's 75 years. You can probably go through all 75 years and see, oh, that guy had that superstar. That team had that superstar. That's just how it goes.
And usually there's two.
Yep, usually two. So
unless your name is Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, Dirk's a super outlier. Super outlier. That probably won't. How the NBA is now, that probably will never be done again.
Nope.
Like just a single superstar winning a championship.
Some
could say Giannis, but
beating
Chris
super
is a star.
And beating
the first year that they were automatic favorites. Yeah. And give that little finger wag.
We're going to see with the NBA. Like you say, the NBA is definitely going to pick up after Christmas, and it's going to get interesting with trade deadline because there could be some trades to be made for certain contenders. So we're going to keep an eye on that. NFL, per usual, is always going to be lit. It's going to be a lot of content coming out next couple of weeks with playoffs, teams going into the playoffs, things like that. So make sure you guys follow us on bullheaded_pod. Make sure you also look for us on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. Make sure you follow us on Twitter under the same name, bullheaded_pod, and on TikTok. Just got that uploaded. Same, username. But now, actually, it's bullheaded864 for TikTok. So start to put out content on there. So make sure you guys follow me on that. And for me, Zoo and Peepers, we're out.
Charlotte really did drop out. The clock is still going.
I know. And so we're still here, post-production.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's got to be the second time.
Yeah,
Something like that, too.
this is the second time it did happen, man. Oh,
Oh,
my
man.
Lord.
Hey, man, the
Yeah.
Xfinity gods praised me for an hour, man. They
Bro,
listened.
dude, I don't know what'd you do, man. The internet
I
got a
did
lot
nothing.
better.